Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is going to be the third match between DJ Elliott and Denzak, part of the Reddit Championship Tournament. At the 12 o'clock position, we have DJ Elliott as the red Zerg. 6 o'clock position, we have Denzak as the orange Protoss, and this is going to be on Destination, which is really a big bread and butter map. Natural expansion ramp right there. You've got that open mineral along that back edge to open up some cheese opportunities. Otherwise, you're pretty much locked to 2-base play. You got these nice ramps right here, and it can be a really nice map for Zerg if you can go and get those front door contains, things like that. So thus far, though, what the story has really been is DJ Elliott just having some clever builds, I gotta say, and having some clever adjustments, but not quite able to execute, not quite keeping up with Denzak's just pure raw macro power, and that's been evident even in the mid game, I've got to say, and he's just been doing just had brutal macro. This is actually another one of those maps where you can kind of have an exposed natural expansion. It's difficult to really build a solid wall off a fast expansion. I'm kind of curious how Denzak's going to be able to try to roll this. So I always like seeing the front door, because I feel like almost no two Protosses do the front door expansion on Destination twice, or the same way, basically. Some people like throwing gateways. I've seen people use their own nexuses as part of the blockade. I've seen people put cannons in really funky positions. So, and I don't know why, I just really enjoy that. Looks like we're going to see a 9-pool speed opening with Extractor from DJ Elliott, so wants to apply some early pressure, try to put Denzak in the dark and kind of transition from there, which, especially if he's going for some sort of 2-hatch or cheese build, could be very useful, could be very powerful. And I think this is actually a good adjustment from DJ Elliott. I think the lesson from Game 1, Game 2 is this guy knows how to macro, so don't even give him an opportunity to macro. Go ahead and try to get some of these early endgame strategies going that Zerg is really proficient at, and try to exploit the map and get them to work. And let's see if DJ Elliott in fact has that in mind, or if he's going to go for more of that, go for more macro-oriented builds in this match as well. Should see 2 cannons to open up here on the corner, but keep in mind, even with these cannons at position, you got to be very careful, especially with Zergling speed out there. Actually, it looks like there was a cancel on that Extractor. Still probably going to see, still 6 Zerglings just to put Denzak in the dark, but and a cancel on the second cannon, or maybe he was just moving it on position. I missed it, but critically still. Is that actually in position? Okay, we'll see in just a second. But critically still, this is an extremely exposed natural expansion, and you can still see a big flood of Zerglings into it, and they can actually, I like this cannon placement because they can actually go all the way around here sometimes and go into the main if you put them too far forward. So that'll cover actually both the main, but that's going to leave this kind of front door area here a little bit exposed, and I don't think this cannon will cover this Extractor, or I should say this Vespene gas. So once that's taken, if the Zerglings are opportunists, should be able to do some damage there. Still no gas being taken, but we are seeing a natural expansion, and it looks like this drone also not really being hit. Still Overlord on the front door and 1 Zergling wandering in. Looks like 1 Zergling did die. Right there, poor Zergling. So you're down to 5 Zerglings on the front, and let's see if they're able to wander out and stalk. Looks like a drone getting interrupted by this probe, and I expected to see, it looks like actually he's just going to keep them on the front door, wants to kind of deny information, even though it looks like he's going for pretty much standard build, and honestly I don't know that he really needs to keep that little ramp blocked at this stage, now that he's planted that 3 o'clock base. Because once you plant that 3 o'clock base, your Protoss opponent knows you're going for more macro-oriented, you're going for more of a either 3-hatch or 5-hatch play, and I think after Game 1, Game 2, you have to assume 5-hatch at this stage. Probe might be able to turn around. I'm also seeing the drone saturation here with the natural expansion. He's got all the information he really wants. So I almost feel like these 3 Zerglings on the ramp, not really vital, not really useful here at this stage, and they'd be much better off just running out and killing that probe. So not able to do so quite yet, though. The simulator is now up and running, still no second gas. Cybernetics core kind of being hidden on the corner. 1 very powerful rush for Protoss, 1 powerful option to kind of hide your tech right here on this edge, kind of in this area, and I think you can provide a lot of, there's a lot of clever maneuvers you can do here, a lot of clever cheeses, and actually transferring a lot of probes, maybe for defensive purposes against Zerglings. There's the tech to layer, there's the hatchery still building, and that probe's still running free with just, looks like 5 health left, and still those Zerglings just hanging out. 1 idle probe, I want to point it out. But you can kind of hide your tech down here below, Stargate included, Citadel of Adun included, things like that, and then the Overlord can't, there it is, Overlord can't really venture in and check the tech out because it gets kind of pushed back by that cannon. So you can kind of hide, quick rushes, things like that. Looks like the Stargate is going to be planted in the main. I'm not seeing any additional gateways. There is a Dragoon being produced, so maybe wanting to play it a little bit on the cheap, kill that Overlord before that first Corsair even. We'll see. It looks like that Overlord's starting to make its move back towards the main, which leads me to believe actually with this first Dragoon that we are going to see some sort of Stargate-oriented build. Again, I'm kind of curious to see if we'll see a Corsair Reaver here out of Denzak, or maybe more of a Bisu build. The Dark Templar kind of feel it looks like Weapons 1 is being upgraded. And normally I would say, yeah, that's what we're going for, but I'm not seeing a second gas placement just yet. But he wants to kill that Overlord fairly quickly inside the base before revealing his tech, so going Dragoon first rather than producing Zealots. So second gas being taken, still no third gas, but that third base is producing. Very vulnerable. There's that fourth hatchery, so it looks like we are going to see that standard 4 hatchery Spire. A couple Scourge to knock that, actually not even going to need it as much, to knock that Corsair out of the air. That Corsair should be able to wander in. Really doesn't need the scouting information, honestly, at this stage. It's seen that third base. That probe is actually still, I think I saw it still live here a second ago, wandering out in the field. I have to assume that Denzak knows what's coming. He knows he's not really being cheesed at this stage. There's a second gas. Let's see if we see a couple gateways. Yeah, there's Citadel of Adun, so it looks like he's going to do a Bisu build. Maybe I'm off on my gas timing just because, again, long time. But I feel like to really make this effective, he should have been, you can see he's kind of in a gas deficit for it. Should have been pumping additional gas a little bit sooner, a little bit earlier. Let's see if he can really make these Corsairs worthwhile, though. Was going to want to produce more of them, though, to really make it effective. And once again, we're seeing that macro. It looks like both players supply cap themselves a little bit, but there's that 5th hatchery. Should be some Scourge. Actually, no produced Scourge yet, so skimping a little bit on it, realizing he couldn't really deny the information. Going to plant that Hydro Stem instead. Okay, there's the Scourge. A little bit on delay. Probably should have had that, and probably seen an off result because of the supply block. But Denzak, once again, 46 supply, doing pretty well. Weapons 1 coming along the way. There's the additional gateway. There's the Templar Archive, and there's that additional gateway. So he's going to be starting. He's going to be sending out some of those Dark Templar out in the field, and that means he needs to dodge Scourge very critically. Let's see if he can get back down to his base, pull the angle, and sink down. He also is going to want that Weapons 1, which, again, skimping on, loses both Corsairs. That's really going to limit the effectiveness of this, and that's kind of the adjustment when you use those Dark Templar against those those Scourge against those roving Corsairs, is it limits the effectiveness of Dark Templar, especially because, you know, fewer Corsairs in the air, and that's really also where you also need Weapons 1 to kind of kill those Overlords a little bit more rapidly. Normally I would say if it was just, you know, straight up, and we hadn't seen what we've already seen, that DJ Elliott was again in a very nice position, but Denzak, again, with just his brutal macro, it looks like he's now going to switch into more, this is usually what we see on Destination anyway, but he's switching to it a little bit more rapidly now. Excuse me, moving cough drop around in my mouth. You guys have been having a couple cough fits here now. Nothing serious, I'm not sure what the issue is. Actually, maybe I'm just addicted to them after all, and producing some Dark Templar still. I almost feel like he should have just gone with some standard High Templar here at this stage, because there's going to be, looks like a Spore Colony. Yeah, you got an Overlord or 2, but yeah, I don't think those Dark Templar are going to be as effective here. It might have even been worthwhile to send a Zealot out here to deny those additional expansions. Yeah, bad timing. Now we're seeing a couple of Mutalisks being produced, and I don't know that we're actually going to see enough to kind of counter these Mutalisks as far as a roving army. So DJ Elliott is going to be able to control the ground momentarily, and I like that tech switch on his part. A couple of probes out, but it looks like they are landlocked, and these Mutalisks are going to wander around, and this, because of that cannon placement, once again, this natural expansion is going to be very, very vulnerable. This main is going to be very vulnerable, and because of those, again, those 2 Corsair hits early, DJ Elliott could get a lot of kills right here. And again, this cannon not really in position to defend. You can see they can just wander along that line, and honestly, they might even be able to run straight into that cannon. Trying to draw those probes back, take out as many as possible, and it looks like he is going to be able to do a lot of damage. There's a Sidestorm. Nice dodge by Elliott. Able to get out of the line there, and once again another nice dodge, and this is expending storms that really you don't want to expend. You want to hit the more ground-based units rather than trying to waste them on Mutalisks that are just kind of running around on the field being annoying. So this is going to really pay off for Elliott. Moving that cough drop again. Yeah, I'll admit it. This is now my drug of choice that I can get over the counter. Totally hopelessly addicted to cough medicine. It's the menthol, baby. The vapor action, so good. Getting low, actually. Maybe I should buy more. Now the Mutalisk is taking a dive right into the main. No cannons to protect, no Corsairs in the air. And it looks like Elliot is going to be able to win this on a very smooth